Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about hepatitis C.
Certainly an important issue. So what are we seeing in terms of progress in treatment and the future of a vaccine?
Well, I think the progress in treatment has really been phenomenal. As your report, report about Egypt highlighted, the new therapies for hepatitis C have really been very revolutionary, resulting in one pill once a day for the vast majority of patients, much shorter treatment duration, much easier to take, and minimal side effects. But as you point out, a vaccine is really going to ultimately be required to many people, including myself, feel in order to eradicate the virus completely and eliminate the infection worldwide.
Now, we're seeing Egypt obviously welcoming people to come and be treated there. So which countries are doing the best to fight the disease and which countries continue to lag behind?
Well, I think the countries globally that have embraced the new treatments and have approved them really are at the forefront of those that are leading the fight. So, for example, Australia, which has a fixed price for the medication, no matter how many individuals are treated. Countries such as the former Soviet Republic of Georgia, which has a national campaign to eradicate hepatitis C throughout the country, and as you pointed out, Egypt as well. The countries in which the medications have not yet been approved and interferon still remains standard, and those that have turned a blind eye to individuals such as substance users who still remain the vast majority of infections are those that are lagging behind.
Now, in terms of the funding for treatment and research, what are the targets and what's the funding gap looking like?
The funding gap really remains the ability to get treatment to the individuals who need it. At each step in what we call the treatment cascade, in other words, getting patients screened, getting patients identified who have the virus, getting them into successful treatment, getting them to complete treatment, and then following them up after they're treated to make sure that the virus has been cured. At each step, we lose individuals. And so really, the funding remains the ability to identify the infection, screening, the ability to get the medications to those who are most infected, and also funding for a vaccine.
Now, the World Health Organization wants to eliminate viral hepatitis by the year 2030. What would need to happen to make that a reality?
We would need scale up on a much wider basis, as in Egypt and in the countries that I've identified. In the United States, we are pushing to get all individuals screened and those who are infected into treatment. And I think there needs to be increased realization that those individuals who are substance users, particularly those who inject drugs, are really the reservoir of the infection in many countries, both prevalent and new infections. And here in the United States, the opioid epidemic, unfortunately, brings with it many new cases of hepatitis C.
Now, according to the World Hepatitis Alliance, 1 in 3 people living with viral hepatitis are too afraid to tell their friends and family. So what's being done to really reduce the fear and spread more awareness beyond World Hepatitis Day?
Well, you really point out a very important point, which is the stigma that's attached to the viral hepatitis virus infections. And I think the analogy is HIV. 20 years ago, HIV was also an infection that many individuals did not want to face. Public outcry, advocacy, and policies from bodies such as the World Health Organization and the health authorities in the individual countries really pushed HIV to the forefront. And now we talk about elimination of HIV. I think similar endeavors need to occur with viral hepatitis in order for it to really be eradicated over the period of the next 15 to 20 years.
Well, let's hope that that does become the situation. Thank you to Dr. Andrew H. Talal, professor from the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at the University of Buffalo.